starting.
Hello! Welcome back to the Consortium Interregnum. You guys had a little break to decompress from last session. How's everybody feeling?
I am still filled with rage.
Yeah, no. George.
Yeah, no, it's, we got one person going in character. I'm gonna make sure they redeem themselves. And it's like, no, you betrayed our trust. Prepare to die.
Wait, are you referring to Squilliam? Fuck you.
No, we talked about this.
I'm telling you, he's truly
literally
on our side.
I'm giving you the one chance.
We gave them the one chance.
I gave Squilliam the one chance. I'm giving Blair one chance.
Also, part of the reason why he was thinking about rejoining back was that you said that you'd help him take over the world.
Yeah,
so
and also
he hasn't actually changed his overarching goal.
Which is fine, because that's what we're going to use him for anyways.
But anyway, you guys were able to somewhat calm the audience down. You start shuffling out back onto the street. You definitely see amongst the city things are a little bit more chaotic than they were before. The news is spreading quickly. You see a plant on the street corner begin to move. It's Fern. He comes over to you guys and says, "Hey, we should probably get you out of the city. Is there anything else you guys needed to do here?"
Lunu's a little bit catatonic. It's like, I trusted him.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing that.
I trusted them.
Okay. Repeat that for we're just a little whiplash about what happened.
Mm-hmm. He says, "Well, all right, follow me, and I'll try and lead you out of the city as best I can." So Fern takes you through some back streets, avoiding the main crowds, and navigates you to the entrance to the city. And he says, take a moment to recoup, but you're definitely going to want to meet with the Pope as soon as possible. Now you've accomplished all of the goals, he'll see you, and usually there'd be like scheduled or meetings and that kind of stuff, in order to the whole pomp and circumstance, he says. But given the current situation, I think getting over there as quickly as possible is more important.
Okay, agreed.
Weird enough.
Did anyone see anything about where the Inquisitor ran off to? No one.
Fern says, "We've got people looking, but considering he has the protection of one of the candidates, there's not really much we can do about him, even if we were to find him."
So that means you probably don't have anything on viscosity on the other guy too, huh?
Huh?
You go ahead.
No, what was the questions?
I was just saying, even though he's a war criminal?
Fern says, "You guys have a war criminal in your employment too."
Who?
Which one?
Tito. Which
Yeah.
one?
I mean, Tito's been absconded. He's been absolved.
Yeah.
Tito's not a known war criminal.
Monarchs have the ability to pardon. So.
Oh, Tito's not yet pardoned. Okay.
Well, it's basically him saying, like, so the candidates, although you can't officially pardon anybody, if anybody comes into your protection, it's current policy to not go after them.
Oh.
And that's a policy that you guys have used quite frequently.
We have, like, recruited every other boss we fought in this entire fucking campaign. So I see it.
That
So the
being
government
said,
can't go after them, but I can. Cool. Good to know.
yeah. That being said, politically, it's definitely gonna have some repercussions for them. But it probably also depends on how you guys use it, to really kind of make them hurt. But we would have arrested him, if we'd seen him. But now that he's going to be hiding in with the candidate, our ability to take him out is going to be extremely limited. He says, but no one would look bad upon you for going back and getting revenge now.
Good to know. Good to know.
It,
If you do find anything about their whereabouts, could you let me know, please?
He says, oh yeah, Carlita's got safe houses, all over the city, for her performances, that kind of stuff. She needs places to go around, and we're checking those to see if there's anything we can find, but it's still very early, so.
All right.
So, are you guys going to go straight to the Pope, or is there anything else you want to do first? You guys have full rested, so you have all your stats back since they had you all get killed in the circle or the square.
Yeah.
So you have all of your stuff. You are at full ability.
yeah, man.
I guess.
Okay, cool.
Can I ask, like, what's Basil's reaction to all this shit happening? Like, now he's like, instructor is now seemingly turncoated and all this other shit that just happened.
Highs or lows?
Mommy, are you getting a divorce?
I.
Highs or lows?
Hi.
Highs.
Hi. Also, so just to get my thoughts together, one of the candidates indirectly had another candidate killed. Viscosity's still out of the running, right?
Yeah, viscosity's out, I think.
He said that he wasn't competing and that he was going to accept a high-ranking government job. You get the feeling that Viscosity thinks that he will be ruler in everything but name.
Okay.
Like he'll be the advisor to Nacrolita, who's actually running everything.
Nacrolita. And she's a mermaid.
Basil doesn't look like he's taking it too well.
Oh.
He's never been betrayed before.
I guess that's technically true.
Yep.
Well, Basil, now we get to try revenge.
Basil, I think
process the emotion of vengeance.
Basil, I'm still.
Basil asks, "Is revenge some kind of food? How is it best served?"
Cold. However, Basil, I'm also torn up too by all this, but I don't know. I just feel like we might be able to get him back. I don't know for sure, but I think there might be.
I feel like as soon as we make things up with our octopus friend, Basil indirectly kills them via car bomb or some shit. And he just stares at the flame yeah, idea what? Anyway,
yeah.
Basil.
Anyways, so I
object.
bring Basil close. I just start I don't know, rubbing my hand through his hair, since I can tell he's really torn up by all this. Help soothe him.
Roll me a. What would that be?
What would you count it?
Child.
Lead a pant.
Roll me either. Let's see. My roll 20 has frozen. I apologize. That's no good. I need that. Let's say roll me diplomacy or performance check, whichever one. While we
All
wait
right.
to not be frozen.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, you're able to make him feel better and have not be down in the dumps.
Giving him a little bit of hope.
You rolled performance.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, it
he
was
said.
either or.
Yeah, that's what I was like saying. Yeah,
Okay.
it just made sense.
I don't know.
So next up, are you guys gonna go meet with the Pope? You could also, like, specifically say that you're not meeting with the Pope. That is also technically an option.
We earned this. Let's meet him.
Yeah,
True.
no, we did earn this. Might as well. Tell
I'm
him
trying to
that
do my
his,
breathing exercises on the way.
Deep breaths, In slowly, out slowly.
All
Like
right.
a rising tide.
I want to give him a chance,
so-
but I feel like I'm gonna kill him.
So Fern
Fine.
has a vehicle waiting for you guys. That it's kind of got like, it's the same kind of contraptions that go through the octopus that you're used to. This one's kind of got like tinted windows though, so once you get inside, no one can see that you're in there, and they push you out into the open to get onto the tentacle, and you're sucked in, and in a very short period of time, you're getting out inside the core. So where the Pope lives is how the core is divided. It's generally divided into 4 sections. The Pope is in control of one of those sections, and so it's very obvious though, like, once you're given the instructions how to get there, because it is like one of the big main areas. As you're getting close, you because this one you would have to you do walk, and you go through the core, and when you reach the area that you start to notice is the place that's basically controlled by the church. It's obvious, there's like things like monasteries and stuff set up, but you're actually kind of surprised by how much non-religious stuff is going on in the area. You see things like people, doing manufacturing work. You see a lot of like water pumping equipment. You see a lot of ventilation, almost like heavy machinery as you're going through, and that's because this is one of the areas that the octopus pulls in fresh water and oxygen from the ocean around it. That's then pumped off into all of the other areas. And so there's a lot of like stuff that is being done to maintain that. And in this particular case, it looks like it's being run by the clergy. So you would, you probably pass by like, a bunch of people working, and then the person that looks like the boss at that area is dressed like a clergyman, but the average person that's around, the vast majority that you see, are not actual clergy. They're normal people. You're assuming most of them probably commute, but you do pass by some areas that look like they're normal living areas. And you eventually arrive to the the center part of this area, where you see a huge temple, and its front doors are open. They're actually quite huge. There are side doors off to the side that you assume are for like normal enter and exits, but the main doors are actually open. So there's these huge, massive doors. You know, they go up a couple stories even. And then there's a huge amount of security that have kind of blocked off the area. And it looks like they're putting up barricades. You're assuming that the news has spread here about what's been going on, and that someone else has claimed the divine mandate from the Pope, and so it looks like they're preparing for the possibility of violence. What would you guys like to do?
We gotta get the Pope. We gotta get our eyes on meet the Pope right away, guys.
We can explore later.
Yeah.
If we feel like it.
Yeah.
We need to talk to this dude, get the lay of the land, figure out what we're doing next.
Yeah.
So you guys just walk up to the front door, go up to the nearest security person.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you go up to a person that's dressed in what appears to be military clothes. They're very fancy. Cinna, you've hung around the military of Aethervathy quite a bit, so you're generally used to the uniforms that you see. This is one that you've not seen before, because it's almost looks like it's like a ceremonial equipment. You think that this might be specialized security for like directly underneath the Pope, and not actual military.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple of the people that he's talking to look like they are actually from the military. It looks like the military's been called in to assist.
Right.
But this is probably the guy that you would need to talk to get inside.
Okay, let's walk up to him, introduce ourselves. We're the Friends of Bubbles. We're here to see the Pope.
He says, "All right, stay here for a moment." He walks a couple feet away, pulls out a sending slate, makes a call. Is talking to them for a little bit, and he puts the receiver down, and he walks back over, and he says, "All right, you're clear to go up the main steps. We can also bring you around back and get you in through one of the side doors if you didn't want people to see you going into the temple."
I think we want people to know, don't we?
I think so.
I mean, is there like a receptionist or?
He says, "No, once you go in, I'll lead you directly to the Pope. He's been expecting you."
Actually, wait. Maybe we should try to not be seen going in.
Why?
Because if we're seen going in, if, let's say, the Inquisitor is somehow lurking around or has eyes over here, he might not go in to try to kill the Pope. But if we go in without being seen, he might think it's safe just to sneak in and try to kill the Pope, and we can lure him out that way. Or some other threat, potentially.
Honestly, I'd be more surprised if we just walk in through the front door and the Pope's already dead.
But I don't think there's any downside to not being seen.
I will wild shape into a mouse.
Okay.
Why, didn't they say that there was a side entrance we can go into so we wouldn't be seen? Or was I mistaken?
Yeah, because basically you'd have to walk up like these like big steps up to the big door that can be seen from far away, or they can just kind of like hush you around the back.
Yeah, let's
yeah.
So if you go up, if you walk up the steps to go in through the front door, everybody that's here will be able to see you doing it. But if you go through one of the side doors, no one will be able to see you.
So
I
like,
would
if
say
you go to the front, that ups our legitimacy and probably gives us some leverage when we talk to the other candidates later on. But if we go through the side, yeah, then it's a little stealthy and we can be coy
I
about
think
what we
we'll be
know.
able to prove we went to the Pope either way. I mean, it's not gonna be that hard. We can just even get a letter from him if we want to.
But I say we just speak to the. I say we just have Lunu just morph into a rat.
We don't
And
need
then-
to. We can just literally go into the side
Okay,
door.
so Lunu can be a little covert, so like they don't think that everybody's coming in, and then if like someone wants to come
Yeah.
and say like we can take the rest of us, then we have another person.
I don't think there's a benefit to doing a split. I think there's just a benefit to us being seen or us not. Because if one of us is going, there's no way the others aren't or beside them. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. Like if they see all but one guy, they're gonna know the other guy's still there. If there's one of us going in, they're gonna know that the others are not far behind or also already inside. So I think it's either a case of we take the stealthy approach, which I think literally has no downsides, since we potentially can warrant a threat, and then it's not like we won't be able to
I
prove
think
the other
we're
candidates
overthinking this.
we've met the Pope. I don't think there's any downsides because I imagine he's going to give us
Really,
some.
I also think we're also overthinking this, but I also want Lunu to turn to a parrot because I think it would be funny.
Parrot Lunu would be pretty funny.
George is like, I need this.
He just wants a parrot upon his shoulder as he's a pirate.
I'll be honest, it would be quite humorous.
You're okay with being a parrot?
I'd love to be a parrot.
What kind of parrot? Like a macaw or like a cockatoo?
I mean, I'll turn into a blue macaw for you.
I wouldn't mind.
All right, parrot mode Lunu. Then we go through
Yeah.
the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just go through the side door.
All right. So you get taken around and brought up into the main chamber of the temple. So you see the door. The big door is behind you now, and you follow your colorfully well decorated warrior a bit further in. The inside of the temple is huge with very, very large pillars, and it's all very open. It has lighting, but just due to the huge scale of the size, the lighting isn't as good. Like it's not like it's well lit, despite the fact that there are a lot of lights around. And it's surprisingly cool. And you hear echoes of just even like your own feet moving, despite the fact that this is such like a big centerpiece. There's basically no one in here. You're not sure if that's because they've removed the people due to the current security situation, or if this is just how it is usually. You walk towards the back, and you see an altar with a large stone chair, and sitting on it is the Pope. You guys thought I was going to say the Inquisitor.
I honestly did. You had me going for a second.
Yeah. So, yep, the Pope is sitting there. The Pope's a heavy-set old man. He is where his feet would be. There are instead multiple octopus tentacles as well as crab legs. It's almost as if he's got, significantly more than is necessary. He's got on a white robe, and he's not currently wearing any headgear. And he's got his what are they called? The Pope staves. They've got a name. He's got a Pope staff. I don't remember what the Pope staff's name is.
Is it benediction?
And he says in kind of like this gruff voice.
It's just the papal Virla?
Yeah, begins with the F, that one. It's not like specifically like, it's not like a Pope staff, but the popes use that kind of staff as their staff, so it's, in my head, it's a Pope staff.
It's cool with like the chest piece shit on top, like the crosses and everything.
Yeah, the cross of Christ and whatnot.
So anyway, you guys come up and he says to you all. So you're kind of like at the bottom of the stairs, going up to where the altar is in his chair, and he says, "Well, I certainly not expected to meet you all so quickly. You will have to forgive the lack of pomp and circumstance due to the emergency situation we now find ourselves in."
What does the Pope look like?
I've actually got in my head a picture. Give me a second. Let me to put on here. About what he kind of looks like. So different clothes, but he kind of looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Palpatine, like.
No, this is Harkonnen from Dune. Fucking.
Yep.
using this
So he
fucking device as a mobility scooter.
Yep. Like I said, he's a heavy-set man. No hair, and but he's dressed in overall very simple clothing. He doesn't really have any jewelry. The staff that he has looks kind of valuable, but besides that, it's very simple. And yeah, that works too. That one, but more overweight.
A more overweight version of
Yeah,
Bart
it's like
Yeah.
that, but like.
So he says, you know, he says that he wasn't expecting to meet you guys this fast due to the current situation, and he kind of looks to you guys to respond.
Yeah, I wish we could have met under better circumstances, but the time
Same.
is what the time is. So
It seems the
we
hand of
should.
fate has forced our meeting far earlier than we expected.
Does he float around like this?
Well, currently he's sitting, so you know you might need to find out.
Is he also a Simic, or is he just like a dude?
Well, yeah, he's got all of like the tentacles and the claws.
So he's like
coming
a
out
cold,
from
fat
underneath his
male
ribs.
Ursula.
Yes, but also with like there's like a lot of like crustacean limbs coming out as well.
I see.
So, like there's like so many of them that it looks like he actually probably struggles
Oh,
to
it's
walk
him.
with them. Yeah, like him fused with Ursula, the guy from Monsters Inc. And so he sits there, and he says, first, I have a gift to give one of you. And he reaches behind his chair, and he pulls out a small box. It's larger than a shoebox, but you could still kind of hold it in one hand. And he says, "You there, he points to you, Austin.
Yes.
The strongest member of our team.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
He
we
says-
strong news.
He says, "Where's the missing person of your party?"
He got the sight of the recent tragedy that occurred made him so ill that he could not attend today.
Mhm. He says, "Well, this is for him." He holds out the box to you.
I am.
The parrot takes the box.
You fly over.
You use your little parrot claws to open it.
Hold up a second. How much can an unladen parrot carry?
Strength check.
It's a large bird. Probably could carry something.
I know they can carry coconuts. Hilarious. They actually can carry.
What kind of parrot are you?
Blue macaw.
Are they technically green macaws? Even though they're blue colored and they turn green later?
Scientifically, they're called. Wait,
Uh,
are we talking about like?
You fly over to pick up the box, and you find that it is incredibly heavy.
Talking about like the blue and gold macaw con.
Yeah.
Okay.
This thing weighs like more than your parrot does, despite the fact that it's small. Whatever inside of it is probably made of stone or metal, so you're not able to lift it.
I can go over and grab it for us then.
Yeah, no, it likes to try to lift things. It tries its best.
He's doing his best.
He he reaches back behind his chair again, and he pulls out a little cracker. He holds it up to you.
It's like communion wafer.
No, either Ethi religion doesn't have communion. But does it look like that? Absolutely.
Probably want communion wafer.
Do you eat the little cracker?
Yes.
You die. It's poisoned. Roll his character.
He kind of as he's like moving around, he's kind of got like this winded breath, like even just little bits of movement tire him out. And he says, so he gives the package to Blair, who comes up the steps in order to pick it up. Do you like stay up there, or do you go back down to the bottom of the stairs?
I guess
There is like a place for you to like kind of like there is like an open area that you could stand up there, but then like it'd be kind of awkward if you were up there and everybody else was still down the stairs.
I guess
Either everybody should go up the stairs, or you should go down, or you should make the decision to make it awkward by splitting it.
This is true. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back down the stairs and I'm gonna open the box so we can see what's inside.
So before you open the box, you see printed on the box the words danger, do not open, and then there's a letter kind of attached to the box.
What does okay, can I see what's in the letter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you open it, and it is kind of like just a detailed description about what's in the box, without going into it too much because you'll need to continue the conversation with the Pope. It seems like there is some sort of cursed object or weapon inside of the box. Why the Pope is giving it to Luno, you're unsure.
Oh,
But it's definitely not like like some kind of like it's very clear like there's warning signs about it. But it does definitely seem as if there's some sort of cursed item inside.
I thought when you said missing member of our party, he meant Squilliam, and I was very confused.
No. He knows about Squilliam. He doesn't know where Luna is.
Yeah, because he's a parrot. That makes sense. Well, this is very interesting, I say, thinking to myself in my head. Blair is morbidly curious, but we'll wait to find out until later.
But
she thanks him for the gift.
The Pope then turns to you all and says, "Well, now we need to come out of this situation." He pulls out some like a tray with some food on it. He starts eating, and he says, "The way I see it, we have more to gain working together than we do apart." And he says, "What are your thoughts on the other two candidates who were not involved in today's events?" And you all would know he's referring to Adonis and Barbados.
Barbados is a very honorable man. We've honestly only had good experiences with him. I guess Cinna here knows more, has met with Adonis more than the rest of us.
He says, "What do you think it will take to get them to drop out?"
To drop out?
Yes. He says, "The sooner we can consolidate, the sooner I can get rid of this challenge to my authority."
And so, I mean,
talking about Necrolita.
Says, "No, she'll be in for the long haul, but before we can do anything about her, we need to split the vote. At this point, the council is going to be pretty divided between the three of you and Necrolita. And as long as it's the three candidates against the one, you're at a major disadvantage. If it goes to a popular vote, you'll lose."
Wait, hold on. We're with Bubbles, right?
Yes.
Why is he considering us candidates?
You're representing Bubbles.
He's talking about Bubbles.
Okay.
He's saying that if we don't get rid of the other two candidates who are not evil, the problem is that then the bloat will be split too much between the three of us, and we'll sandbag ourselves. It's like when, in real life, when you see multiple candidates of the same party, or you see like a random independent that saps the vote from one of the two parties.
Fuck.
He says, "Of course, I'll need a statement from Bubbles and or you, her representatives, asserting that my rule of the church has been fair and that my legitimacy is not to be questioned as a part of this deal. But if you don't have plans to get the others to move out, why should I not cut a deal with one of them instead?"
Yeah.
Because your life's on the line.
He says, "And you all will be able to protect me?"
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely would know how to protect you from the Inquisitor better than the other two candidates who have never met him.
We got to know the Inquisitor personally. Therefore,
And,
we know he is.
He says, I do not fear the Inquisitor. He's a madman. You know, who sways the weak-minded to his cause. Is he a legitimate threat? Yes. Which is why I'm willing to cut a deal with you all to remove him. But it's not him physically trying to hurt me that I'm worried about. It's him convincing my followers to support him instead.
yeah, wait, out of character. Is it what the Pope does? The exact same thing where he just sways weak-minded individuals to support his cause?
That's up to your interpretation.
They could be saying of all religions.
We're not taught. How about you?
Yeah, no, that's literally just religion propagation 101.
I'd be really surprised if the Inquisitor was able to convince anyone after all of that.
Like, what is his platform?
Violence.
Like,
The Pope says the Inquisitor taps into the worst of the souls of Aether Vathi, the ones who believe that to become Simic hybrid is to ascend to a higher plane, and that those who disagree need to be purged. Although the Inquisitor does not believe this himself. The Inquisitor, as my understanding of my working with him in the past, is a fraud. He doesn't believe what he states. He wants no holy war, other than that for which him to ascend to godhood is what's required. He wants to be a god, and he's
Just to put things in perspective, how big is the Simic population compared to population of other folks in this city?
in the core very high. Almost everybody's a Simic. The place that has the highest population of non-Simics is probably Ormos or Topside, but Topside's population is pretty low.
wait.
And then how many of them are fanatics that would want to follow along with his footsteps?
Yeah.
He says the total population isn't what I'm worried about. It's the higher ups, the actual clergy, that if he could get flipped would be a problem. If he's able to convince enough of them to remove me and install himself, he'd gain all of the economic benefits that the church holds. While at that point he won't need to worry about the general population.
Wait, and just to make sense of this further, you basically cause like a sort of, I guess, racial uprising of Simics.
There's a religious uprising.
Or a religious uprising.
Ethnically,
He would cause a schism.
Yeah.
Cause a schism, but would he also turn this state into an isolationist state? I don't know how good trade is with the other nations right now.
He says the Inquisitor's long-term plans don't matter. Once he's whipped up that following, he'll put that into turning him into a god. For those of you who are not theology-minded, it's possible for individuals to ascend to godhood by gaining followers. And it's my belief that his current actions are for that purpose. He does not care who the monarch is of Aether Vathi. What he cares about is his own power.
But the Inquisitor isn't a Simic himself, is he?
I thought he was.
Is he?
No, the Inquisitor is not a Simic. And that is just another one of his many hypocritical stances.
Why do people believe him then? For this whole thing, if he's not even a cynic himself, isn't that like?
You'll need to talk to his followers about that.
It's
I also personally agree with your statement.
playing the hatred, right? Playing the hatred.
And he says, I don't know the exact results of today's events, how it will turn out. But if nothing is done, his ascent will be unstoppable. He says, I do have a solution. But I would require your cooperation.
All right. I think we're all in agreement in saying that we don't want him to do whatever he wants to do. We want him taken down right now, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So we're agreed on that point.
Yeah. How to go about it is another topic.
If you have a solution, I'm all ears. I would love to hear your suggestions in terms of gathering the vote together, consolidating. I think that it would be easier than you might think, because we talked to Barbados. We know Barbados. And he just wants the best for Topside, and he doesn't really care about being a ruler in the first place. So, getting him to drop out would be easy. Like, put his weight behind us. Getting Adonis to drop out all depends on the... What's the name of the guy in charge of the military?
You can just call him the general. That's the easiest way to remember.
Yeah, it all depends on the general there.
Yeah.
Jinglish.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he says, "Oh yeah, general. Yeah, you get the feeling that he kind of finds the general annoying. There's some backstory there. He
with the general.
he says, I'm not going to go into that right now. So there is an option that would suck the energy from the Inquisitor's sails.
What's that?
So Aethervathy currently does not have an avatar. The giant squid or giant octopus is not one to take them very often. There's been a few popes of the past that have achieved that goal, and there's been a few individuals that have taken up that claim. But it's also not obvious who they are. There is of much debate. Inside our current church, the most likely candidate for such a person is Bubbles. The people in the church that support Bubbles support her not because they agree with any of her positions, but because they believe that it's the will of the giant octopus that, Aethervathy, that is coming through there. It is an idea that I have for a very long time pushed vehemently back against. In a lot of ways, I see Bubbles as an unstable pick. Not one that, we of the church can ensure the stability of. And you all would be able to tell stability of. Bubbles is hard to control. He's saying that he wants a monarch that's easy to control. But but he continues. He says, but if we were to lean into this as a concept, if I were to switch trade endorsements, Bubbles could fulfill that role.
As an avatar of Aether Valley.
And but in doing so, more than likely, she then too would become a new god in the way that the Inquisitor wanted. So we could do nothing, and you would have to hunt down the Inquisitor before he succeeds. Or we could post Bubbles up and use that as a way to sap his strength, re-legitimize my rule, and at that point, there'd be no going back for me. I'd be nothing but loyal to Bubbles going forward.
So, Bubbles, just to get you straight, we're basically choosing someone to become an avatar, and lore-wise, an avatar is like
they just get powers from the old god.
Okay.
We're trying
What
to
he's
hoist Bubbles
saying
up to the
is,
God King now.
It's
yeah,
kind
what
of
he's saying is that how Aether Vathi works, they've had avatars, but they don't gain any power. So it's hard, and you know, there's probably some people that would say that because of that, it's never actually really had an avatar, and that there's debate. It's a gray area. Whereas with some gods, or some of the old gods, it's very obvious who the avatar is. You know, who's the one receiving the power of it. In Aether Vathi's case, that's never been the
I'm
case.
just wondering, like, out of game,
it's like a herald. It's kind of like how the head Dracula in Mount Drac is the herald of the vampire god, who is the old vampire god.
Okay.
Herald and Avatar is probably being used interchangeably here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the past, how have you determined if a person actually like is a natural avatar of Aether Valley?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity's sake.
He says there's no official way. It's generally once the majority of the clergy say all of the signs are there, you're good. He says the reason why Bubbles checks most of the boxes is because she currently holds the artifact of Aether Vathi, and her Simic hybrid matches that of Aether Vathi.
This is an octopus.
Yes. He says obviously there are more signs, but once Bubbles gained control of that artifact amongst the church, it became hard to say otherwise.
Because she can actually like use its power.
He says, well, I hope that she doesn't.
What does it do?
It allows you to move Aether Vathi.
Wait, what?
Says, yes. We're able to rudimentally, you know, move the tentacles through electronic stimulation. The tentacles will move by themselves even without it. But in terms of getting them to go where we need them to go, we're able to do it. But we're unable to move the body itself. This artifact would give you the ability to do so. Needless to say, it would more than likely destroy the nation of Aether Vathi if that would happen. Many of the settlements wouldn't be able to survive if Aethervathy was moved out of the area. They rely on it for fresh water and clean air.
Interesting. So is this part of the reason why people were kind of been telling us that she could just take the entire ground by force if she wanted to?
That's one of the factors, yes.
Well, it also depends if Bubbles is going to be up for it as well.
The Pope interjects and says, "You're more than welcome to ask her, but her permission's not required for the process. Many of the new gods accidentally found themselves in their current power. In some cases, some even worked against it. But nonetheless, they achieved it. One of the most famous cases of this, he says, is Horus. The leader of the Horus company ascended to godhood despite his uninterested in the title. It was given to him, and he lost those powers during the Outcast song, and where many of the new gods lost their powers. But this is a thing that can only work if I coordinate with you all. It's not something I'd be able to do on my own. We would need the people that surround Bubbles, you, her most trusted advisors, to state it as a fact as well.
Well, here's the other question. And hear me out. Will this also affect your candidacy as king?
Says there's no requirement that king can't be a god or vice versa.
All right. What are we feeling?
We need to huddle.
He provides a room off to the side. It's like, use this room
speak among ourselves.
Discuss.
Alright.
I hate to do it in this voice. I chose the parrot so I can still talk.
No, I don't trust this guy at all. Like, in the slightest. His plans sound great, however, he really rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, it's more I'm just saying that someone doesn't trust authority, but
I don't vibe with him either, but what he says does make sense, and we need his support anyway in the long run.
We do, but I think we're getting really, like, what's the word? We're getting the short end of the stick here in this deal, I think. Like,
I mean, you could kill both him and the Inquisitor and just see what the next new Pope looks like.
If he's Pope Innocence the 15th, I'm gonna be... He'll be just as bad, if not worse. He seems like such a... I don't know. He seems like the only thing he really cares about is protecting his rule and nothing else.
I mean, of course.
Well, yes, but he seems to be just as much of a... I don't know. Again, just as...
He kind of also encouraged this sort of process to begin with of political backstabbery. But at the same time, I don't want to be arrested for killing a religious leader.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll only be arrested if they find out that it was us.
I don't think the majority of us are particularly stealthy.
We definitely shouldn't kill him, right? That's
a
diplomatic. That's a diplomatic faux pas if I've ever heard one.
So yeah, I agree. I feel no need to kill this guy. I'd rather have him keep up the status quo than have the Inquisitor come out and do some weird blowing up stuff or whatever. He already has a target on his back from me. I don't need him to get other ones.
I
So-
mean, worst case scenario, right? Worst case scenario, if we need this guy dead, we could just let the Inquisitor take care of it himself. He might not be worried as to what he'll do to him physically, but I think the Inquisitor has shown us that he's quite capable of randomly acquiring important political figures to murder them. So, I mean,
the Inquisitor, when you first met him, mentioned that he had been talking to the monkfish the day before.
oh, we did? Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's
He
wild.
said that he was also going through the challenge and that he beat him. And so
oh,
he failed
he's the one who
the
told us
challenge.
that.
Mhm.
Okay.
So he just like
So
never let him go.
that explains how they found each other.
Yeah, it's like the thing is, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Bubbles has expressed that she doesn't want to be a god.
Yeah, so her going along with it would be a bit,
Like, I mean,
difficult.
she wants to live a peaceful life, but then the other question is, this is kind of the problem here, is that we'd be disarming the other two candidates to get them to drop out. For
We
Bubbles, who was
Not
also
necessarily disarming them. We could have them back our cause.
I mean, I think the one of the only ways we'd be able to.
We also have to remember there's an issue with the baby.
Like, we get back our cause. What I'm trying to say is that, like, if Bubbles wants to just live a quiet life, right, in Antipathy,
This
And
is
she doesn't
probably
actually
the
love you.
I don't think
best
she's
way.
letting anything quiet. You're like just what Lunu said, the baby. First off, that's
No.
something on the horizon that's going to be coming through here.
Yeah.
We should definitely ask her and see what she thinks about the god. I think she would hate that.
Yeah. I'm more than happy with discussing with her, talking about what she wants to do, because like it's going to be her life, right? I think that if she doesn't want to go through the godhood plan, then we should just go whole hog into finding the Inquisitor and killing him, straight up,
Yes.
before he gets whatever godhood he's trying to get for, and then we cross off everybody else on our list.
Right. The other problem we're facing is the problem of Nacrolita becoming a super candidate now. Because now everyone who was for viscosity is for her. And the problem is that.
So that's
The
why
other
we should discuss with the
problem-
other ones.
And here's the other problem. They have the evil frog. And what that could mean is if the frog may be able to get Miles out of jail somehow. And if that happens, then they'd have the backing of two candidates.
And Miles is
Make-
disarmed.
He's
I'm not too worried
disarmed,
about him.
but he's not disvoiced is the problem. And if he voices his
Wait,
support,
Miles was never actually a candidate.
Yeah, but he
Yeah,
had
he
a
was.
huge. Yes, he was, and he had a huge backing of the common folk. And if he's like, "Oh, go with her now," because she offers him a place in her cabinet, that's the problem. Because then they have a grand total of 3 candidates worth of supporters behind them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's just like, it's really awkward because now it's just like, on one hand, you know, we'd have to make an alliance at this point where we.
But here's the thing: we also got a good bit of his supporter base, like on our side, because we were in what's it called? What's that area called?
Never mind.
The mining area.
Nevermind.
Yeah, we were in Nevermire. We got the Union to back us. That's a lot of the common folk right there.
Yep.
So, and we also have the like some royal ties in that section that don't necessarily hate us.
That's true.
So, I feel like if they do get him out, his population base is still going to be neutered a good bit.
It'll be nerfed a decent bit. I agree. We have done a lot. This is tough.
Okay. So, my thought,
Yes.
yeah, my thought is that we talk to Bubbles, like you said. Make sure we get her thoughts on it. If she says no, plan B is to go full hog into trying to get an alliance with the rest of the candidates into killing the Inquisitor. All resources go to that, so that we don't have like a whole godhood situation on our hands. We don't have a new pope that we have to deal with. We don't have any of that. And then, once that's taken care of, we can talk a little deeper about like having them drop out if we need to. And then we go after Viscosity and Acrolita.
Yeah, I think it's a decent plan. I think making an alliance with the other two, even if we haven't convinced them to get out yet, I think that would be very doable, very easy to do. Because everyone's in danger right now, just for the simple fact of currently every candidate's life is in danger. Because people are starting to kill each other now.
Yeah. My question is, if Bubbles doesn't want to lose our backup, if we do have to rely on the new avatar.
I mean, we don't necessarily need to make anyone an avatar. That being said, I mean, do we even know do we know any other octopus simic hybrids?
I haven't met Adonis in person, but we have, but yeah.
Adonis is a hammerhead shark, I'm pretty sure.
So unless it's I guess we don't know if that's a hard and set like needed requirement or just one of a possible multitude.
I think for the country with octopus people, having a simic hybrid who is an octopus is pretty important.
Probably. Would you roll like a check or something to see if we would know this by now? Tom?
Yes. What specifically are you asking?
I guess more so if an avatar would require the being specifically a type of octopus simic hybrid.
Roll me a religion check.
All right. Does anyone have the best? Who is the best religion?
I can look.
I have a -1. You do not want to hear it.
Same here. -1.
Which skill?
Religion.
Are we all dumbasses?
And when it comes to religion...
Wait, what's Basil's stat?
Well, I mean, he's the only one that's going to school in the area.
He is the only one who's gone to school in the area. What's your intelligence, Connar?
1. Actually, no, -1.
So, Basil, unironically, it would make the most sense if he would know, because he has been going to school in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So he's possible, so I think, ironically, for once, I think...
Alright, have Basil roll in the religion check.
I can roll religion as well. We won't succeed,
Or at least give Basil advantage.
I can't.
No.
Oh, well...
Yep.
He rolled terribly, unfortunately.
Yep.
Can we pull a guidance?
Basil says, I don't think you have to have all of the requirements. But that's as much as he knows.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Because I guess the only other way we'd be able to fulfill the avatar thing is if we had an actual like other person who could fit at least most of the criteria to make it plausible to even spin this narrative.
The closest person that you could possibly do it with would be Barbados, because he's got kind of a religious following as well. He's got that whole other name that he doesn't like. but that would mean switching to making him the candidate. They basically they'd go hand in hand.
Mm,
He can fly?
no,
Barbados can fly, yeah.
Barbados can't fly,
He can.
but I don't. Literally, Bubbles has been our fucking pocketbook.
Mm.
He did,
So
again, he
we should
told us he
keep
could
backing
back over
Bubbles.
the wall.
I'm not gonna say we stop backing Bubbles, but this is gonna go nowhere unless we talk to her first. I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think we can call her up?
Yeah, let's call
We
it out.
also need to protect the Pope in some way, shape, or form.
For now. This guy's like reeks. Like there's something. He rose me so.
Oh
thoroughly.
yeah, no, he does.
Like the fact that his opening thing was, I need to make sure that my rule is absolute and stays intact, just really is like to the point where he's not even disregarding the threats on his own life. Like it's as if his life doesn't mean anything. It's just his rule that matters.
Yeah.
It just rubs me as someone so obsessed with power they can't see anything else.
Yeah. At this point, like, yeah, I don't really care if he dies now that we've met him, but I don't think he should die for being an asshole.
But yeah, the only other thought I would like to say is that I think one of the only ways we'd be able to convince Adonis to drop out fully is if we basically promise to make him like the next general or whatever under Bubbles' cabinet.
Yeah.
Into like, and for Barbados,
I don't even know if he's like motivated like that. He's just like a guy.
Either that or to make sure that the
I
military
think Alliance is probably the best way to go.
at least for
Whether
now.
he goes for it or not will be another thing. But
Godhood is something that's not in the question. Our
Mhm.
our priorities are protecting this guy so we don't have to fucking deal with a fucking religious uprising. Yeah, honestly, that's
Protecting this guy, getting rid of the Inquisitor,
yeah,
and then getting rid of the other two.
yeah, pretty much.
So let's call Bubbles first.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I can type her number into my sending sleeve, and I call her.
All right. You hear Bubbles' voice come through the other side. She says, "Believe it or not, Bubbles isn't at home. Please leave a message after the beep. I must be out, or I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home."
It just said after the tone, and it would have fully rhymed.
No,
Yeah, well then it beeps.
then it wouldn't be the Seinfeld reference that it is.
Oh, they say after the beep? They should have said
Yeah.
after the tone.
No, it's
Because then the whole thing was
believe
rhymed.
it or not, George isn't at home. Leave a message after the beep.
Oh,
Yeah,
so wow, that's incredibly inconvenient.
yeah. I'll show you the
You
video.
get a
Unfortunately.
text message from Bubbles saying, "Hey, I'm in a meeting. I can't talk right now. What's up?"
Do you want to be a god?
Bubbles
Yeah.
says, "Do I have to do any work?"
What?
Yeah, it's like, does it come with any responsibilities?
You would become the
Possibly.
next avatar of either
Maybe like a showcase, a meeting every once in a while, like a little like public showing.
She says, "Am I allowed to skip them?"
If you get like a body double, probably. You got that kid?
Bro!
We know
Yeah.
about the baby.
She responds back with, "As long as I don't have to do anything, I don't care."
What? What? She said she didn't want to be a god before. Am I Mandelaing this completely?
She doesn't want to be king because it comes with responsibilities, and she doesn't want to be a god if it comes with responsibilities. You get the feeling she's also very distracted and not giving her full attention.
What is she doing?
There's like a couple like typos here and there, like she's typed really fast.
Who is she?
She's probably like doing it like underneath the table and not like taking a look at like what she's actually typing and then still sending send.
Can I call not Bird? Can I call Charlemagne really quick?
Yeah, he picks up.
Hey Charlemagne, who is Bubbles in a meeting with right now?
He says, "Oh well, I believe Bubbles is still in the capital of the Boros company, Bemis.
Oh
Probably going
no!
to some sort of meeting over there."
Oh.
Oh my god!
He says, "Is there anything I can do to help you?"
Has Bubbles ever expressed to you one way or another if she was interested or not interested in becoming a god?
He says, "Well, she's definitely like not interested. But are you guys at your meeting with the Pope? Is he offering to try and make Bubbles a god?"
Yeah.
Charlemagne says, "Well, personally, I think we should do it. Bubbles won't accept any responsibility, but that would solve a lot of problems.
How so?
But do whatever you guys think is right. Believe it or not, you guys have done a pretty good job so far, so I'm willing to put my trust in you. I don't think Bubbles would be mad at you if you did it, but Bubbles is also the kind of person that if you give her the stuff, she probably not going to do anything with it."
Wait, so what problems would this solve specifically, besides just, I guess, giving her a more easily electable candidate?
He says, it'd be really hard to turn it down. More than likely, he thinks about it for a second. He says, it probably wouldn't happen before this was over.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably won't directly help with getting her elected. And so, out of character, before I say this next part, Charlemagne believes in Bubbles 100%. In his mind, if you give Bubbles more power, that's actually probably a good thing. The problem is that Bubbles doesn't use it.
Honestly, probably for the
Charlemagne's
best.
mind.
Probably for
So-
the best.
Well, so from Charlemagne's perspective, Bubbles becoming a god has no downside. But you also need to understand that he's a little bit tainted in that respect for his personal.
Hey,
He's like a fatherly figure to Bubbles. It's basically like, oh, do you want your daughter to like literally be worshipped? He's basically like, well, yeah, of course, like,
hey,
more so than
whatever the guy.
than if it's anything better or worse. You do get the feeling that Bubbles would never ever seek out
Divinity.
this, and Bubbles probably wouldn't like it once she got it either, because again, it would come with responsibilities. But funny enough, the responsibilities for becoming a new god are actually a lot less than becoming the monarch. So, when you put all of that stuff together, you get that's kind of the feeling that you're getting. It's like, oh well, I've already agreed that I'll become the monarch if you guys want me to. That sounds like it's a bigger commitment than this new god stuff. Um,
Bubbles
another
is
thing
cool.
is that a lot of all of the new gods that Bubbles has met lost their powers. So in Bubbles' mind, it's probably not as permanent as it will end up being.
Mm. So honestly, this like out of character, this makes me feel like another avenue available to us. Weirdly enough, is for us to back another candidate for king, but have it so that Bubbles becomes a new god, an avatar, like the avatar, and then back the
But
candidate.
like becoming
So
god
out
and
of
becoming king is
character,
part and
what
parcel.
the Pope, what the Pope has been kind of saying is that won't work
Oh, really?
because Bubbles probably won't be able to get the support to become a new god unless she's being backed as a candidate.
This also does give us another in with the general and Adonis, to be honest, because Bubbles is so adverse to taking responsibility for things that she can just like let the general do whatever he wants, and that's what he wants in the first place.
Yeah. It's literally be what the general guy would want. Our boy on the surface wouldn't have much problem with it. I honestly think alliance is the best course of action right now, and let things play out.
Oh, right now I agree too. I'm just trying to think of the long term as well of like
Long term, we shouldn't worry about because Bubbles will Bubbles. Honestly, the fact that they are, you know, the old, you know, parable of the person who wants to rule the least should be the ruler.
I think that's a bullshit parable, but I get what you're saying.
I don't know. Recent events have proved otherwise.
I like the one where there's the baby and the two mothers are like, well, this is my baby, and then the king's like, well, I'll cut it in half and you can each get half.
You mean
And
Solomon?
then one of them's like, oh, I guess that
from-
seems fair. And the other one was like, what? No, that's terrible. I'd rather she have the baby and it stay alive. And he's like, oh, well, you get to keep the baby because you were the one willing to give it up for what was good for the baby.
Well,
This is unrelated to anything that's going on. It just popped into my head.
no, but that's true. And that's smart. That's the correct parable.
Yeah.
However,
I'm
Man, this
remembering
is like-
the Simpsons version where they just cut the baby in half.
so I guess the question is, are we going to make Bubbles a god?
I guess so.
I don't see why not.
If anything, if she does become the ruler, then she pretty much would probably make things easier on herself, I guess. When
Because
ruling.
couldn't you then just
Well, if it
become
turns
like,
out that Bubbles is the big bad evil guy that you have to fight at the end of the game, making her a god would be really bad.
cool, super boss time. We get the true final boss.
Yeah, then we get to fight a god.
We'll
Yeah.
instead of the friends of Bubbles, will be the foes of Bubbles.
Yeah.
That only sounds like an absolute upgrade. I think you literally just swayed my vote by saying that.
Story wise,
So
perfect.
much cooler.
Tom.
We get to fight the ultimate fuckboy super boss. That's awesome. So, okay, here's the thing though, right? I think that at the end of the day, the other benefit to this for Bubbles specifically is that technically, eventually she could just like have a kid, have an heir, and then they could take over as monarch, and then she could just be like the avatar or the god, and then just like chill
Man, I
with
don't
way less
know.
responsibilities
Hey Tom, out of character,
while still protecting the nation.
how gay is Bubbles?
Bubbles is actually pretty straight.
Okay, maybe the whole.
I know
thing
you
with-
had your ship,
Yeah,
but
no, it's her and Shava hung out a lot, and it's just sort of like, okay,
it was girls' night.
it was girls' night all the nights, every
Yeah.
night.
they really bonded over their traumatic backstories and the fact that they were both basically ninjas.
That makes sense. That makes complete and utter sense.
Yep.
Okay. So I guess we can go this route. I mean, if she's not like vehemently opposed to it from like her core, it's more just like a oh no responsibilities kind of thing, but it would probably make things a lot easier. I guess we could do it. That being said, I'm still also it's interesting because doing this also would allow us, if we needed to in the future, to fuck over the Pope. Because if we need to
when the Pope was basically like, "I'll be loyal going forward," you got the what he meant by that, and this is something you'd be able to tell being in the room, is that in a lot of ways he was saying like, "Oh, I've got this existential threat. I'm surrendering to you for you guys to keep me in power because that's the only way I'm going to stay in power, and you would be able to revoke it in the future." Although probably not without cause, because that would look bad if you just started revoking things for no reason. But yeah, you'd become his backer, and so he would need you, especially in the short term, to stay in power. He needs to cut a deal with somebody, and you guys actually hold a good amount of the cards.
Yeah. In which case, I think it's that honestly gives us kind of the best of all worlds. Because then if he is a problem or we find out some crazy fuck shit he's doing, we can take him down later. So yeah, I think that's the plan. Oddly enough.
Okay.
Do you make any other demands of him?
Oh shit! Should we make more demands of him? And you got any ideas?
You're like, oh wait, that's an option.
You want to save us a shopping trip? You think I should save us a shopping trip, like saving like magic armor or whatnot?
No, I like where you're going with this. I think we should ask for some holy artifact. Also, to aid us in stopping the fucking madman.
Yeah, I kind of had it canon that each old god only has one artifact.
Yeah,
like
but the church may have
cool stuff.
I'm talking about old god artifacts. I'm talking about holy artifacts, like whatever the fuck religious bullshit they have.
Like, it's not a real artifact by the terms of this game, but...
No, I don't mean that. I mean just as a general thing. I just learned the term artifact like 5 seconds ago.
Like, we already have it, so he's going to be explicitly
fine, I'll use
it.
the word relics. Holy relics of power.
Just some magic items that would help us if they have, like, such items. If there's only, like, a...
lying around their treasury.
Like, a big main artifact, I get that.
We don't need to move the octopus. It would cause untold destruction.
Yeah.
It would kill thousands and if not millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so we don't need that. That is very much not necessary. However, cool weapons / armor / accessories to help us in taking down this crazy madman who's trying to overthrow the entire church. I think it's a reasonable ask. I think that's a reasonable ask.
Because, okay, viscosity in a fight, not worried. Giant mermaid in a fight, maybe. Bard shit, I'm not sure how we would handle. If they have mind control.
About isn't viscosity.
What makes you think she's a bard?
The fact that she is a massive entertainer.
I'm a massive entertainer, and I'm not a bard.
I could have statted her as a pure fighter with the gladiator background.
Fair.
Well, I've never failed a performance check in my life, and I still am not a bard. So, it looks to me deceiving. So here's the thing, I think asking for crazy shit would help. Another thing, I think the real threat of viscosity is not him physically, but all of his like Warforged and other mechanical shit that he has that he would more than likely actually fight us with if we were to meet face to face in combat.
You guys have met Viscosity a couple times now. If you got into a fight with him, he'd run away.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
he'd have someone else fight for you. He's somewhat of a coward and is not capable of fighting himself.
Oh yes, himself. What I was thinking is he has some fucking massive Gundam war mech or some crazy shit that he's developed.
Mhm.
But
I mean, maybe he does.
Exactly. Like physically, we would kick his ass if it was just like him. But if he would more than likely have some crazy fucking industrial machines to fight us with. Instead.
Yeah, and then I turn into a big monkey, and it's fucking Godzilla vs. King Kong 2020 or whatever the fuck.
Mecha Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yep.
But yeah, so yeah, I think asking for some cool holy relics to help us would be cool. Any other things people can think of? I mean, I guess we can also just like ask for money.
Yeah, I think money is really some funding. I mean, we were wanted to get funding from the other churches and whatnot.
And we end up funding them.
Yeah. This guy actually has money. This is like the only time we should ask from any money from anyone else other than Bubbles' very, very deep bank account.
Yeah. And
so when you ask for money, you usually ask it of Charlemagne, and he gets it from the Count. Bubbles doesn't have any money.
Yeah.
You know what?
I remember it's the local Count that's backing Bubbles that's been paying.
I remember Bubbles having a shit ton of money near the end of Outcast song, but if she
it's gone.
Yeah.
I think we said that like the first time I introduced Bubbles, I was like, yeah, she doesn't have any money on her. She doesn't have, like, we don't know where it went.
I feel as though Charlemagne would have just taken that right away.
You know. Or maybe she like blew it on like a really cool new weapon or something, you know?
Yeah. Probably.
Mm.
But yeah.
I think it's good to just like ask for the items, like rather than monetary support, because we're getting money from other people anyway.
Well, I mean, why not both? We could just ask for both.
I don't know if he's gonna be like, oh, that's pushing it a little bit.
Well, I mean, we could see what he says. We ask for the relics first, and then we also ask for money.
Money, any holy weapons, anything the church can offer.
Holy weapons, armor, or relic, or like accessories. So like relics, just in general. And whatever they have.
Yeah.
I guess we should just like do the vague ask for support and then see what he gives.
No, not vague, not vague. I'd say just say relics first, and then we're like, okay, sure. And then we ask for money, and if he's like, oh, I can't do both, then we'll just ask for relics.
Mm.
The answer's always no until you ask.
Are you asking him this with like, I guess like, how do you ask him this? Do you ask it like, this is something that you should provide to sweeten the deal? Do you do it? This is a sign of good faith that we want from you.
I think sign of good faith.
Good faith
What's
the alliance?
Yeah,
Good
I'd say
faith.
good faith.
Honestly, if he could fund the alliance, that would probably be a better thing to ask. Because if we have troops of any kind,
Do we need troops?
I'm just saying.
Because he could also just give the money to us, and then we can just use that money for those same purposes, is what I'm saying. And then we have more freedom to use it for what we want. Depending on what needs are called.
I'm just saying, in case we need to fund an army, I think it's important to get something of monetary value. But I do think it should be, hey, we need to get better gear if we're to defend you from the Inquisitor.
So you want to take the transaction approach. You giving us this stuff will allow us to better achieve our mutual goals.
Mm-hmm.
We were really close to being able to fully handle him anyways. Like, sure, we could tell he was holding back at least a bit, but then we'd be able, with like these relics, we'd be able to like tip the scales in our favor to make sure once we do fight him, we can for sure handle him and take him down.
Mm-hmm.
All right, someone roll me a persuasion check.
Oh, I got you. Don't worry.
Can I help? I have
My persuasion is at +9.
Okay, I only have +6. Go ahead.
Can I help? I have a +5.
Yeah, I help. I have a +6.
All right, you got advantage.
All right.
Connor, did you want to say something?
You're still a parrot.
Right? Help?
Well, I guess you could have undone it, casted guidance, and then re-gone back into it.
Oh, true. You want
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So will I add on to this then?
Add a guidance.
How much is that? D6 or D4?
D4.
22. All right.
If it tips the scales, we can add
Believe it or not, my Discord crashed, or not my Discord. My Roll20 crashed, but now I'm back in.
Okay.
So it all worked out. So the Pope Nat 20.
No way.
So he says we're too early in this relationship. Anything that I were to give you now would appear on our balance sheets as quid pro quo and would be not looked kindly upon by the people that we need to sway.
Then
He says, but I will not let you leave with nothing. And he beckons someone to approach, and a clerical person comes up holding a tray. On the tray are vials of a red liquid in a very fancy ornate bottle. It's a sphere. There's one bottle for each of you, and then there is one additional bottle that is a gold liquid. He says these were things that we had prepared for you for completing your trial, and they will help you. He says the red potions, one for each of you, are a concoction of potions of greater healing.
Okay.
So that's one for each of you. Those heal, out of character, 4d4 plus 4 hit points. And then he says, the gold vial is highly concentrated, and if you were to consume that, it would heal half of your hit points.
Okay, cool.
What's that one called?
That one's wild.
Calls it the Holy Elixir.
And we only get one of these, right?
Yeah, one Holy Elixir for everybody, but everybody gets a potion of greater healing. And he says, and also do not forget that at the beginning here I gave you all a gift as well. Even if that gift is dangerous. if you can unlock it, it may prove invaluable to you.
All right. Well, once we're, I guess, farther in a relationship and we've, proven ourselves more, then I guess we can revisit this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get basically like the thing is he's like, look, man, I can't just appear that I'm just selling out immediately. No one would take me seriously after that. Is basically what he says. But in his more, harsh tone.
Mhm.
But that's what you can translate it to.
Right. God damn, he just had a nat 20, motherfucker.
You also like the Pope's not the military organization, so they probably don't have a lot of weapons and stuff. It'd probably be more like support items like this, no matter what.
Oh no,
Or
I was
cash.
expecting weapons, nor did I necessarily actually want a weapon. It was more so just armor accessories than.
Yeah. But anyway, so do you tell him that you're going through with the bubbles plan?
To make her a god? Yes.
He actually looks a little bit upset with the decision.
Really?
You get the feeling like he's spent a lot of his time over the past couple of years trying to avoid this very situation that he's now being forced into. It's not like he's like, oh, like you don't think he's gonna like go back on the deal, but it's more of a he's suffering his own loss due to his failures.
He's just like, oh, well, fine. He's like that, right?
So before you leave,
I guess the other thing I want to tell him
yeah,
is that in terms of getting the other candidates behind us, for now, what we're going to do is to ease them into it. Because we know Barbados is going to be pretty easy to get him to come down, but Adonis will take more work. So for now, we're going to work towards making an alliance between the candidates to prevent more people from just randomly being, murdered. And then we'll use that to like strengthen our relationship with him to get him to come down to us eventually, so that we have all of us backs behind Bubbles.
Mm-hmm. He says, "I'll trust your dealings. For better or worse, now we're partners."
Yes, for better and for worse. I say, like, shaking his hand, I guess. Wait, does he have a hand or a crab claw?
His hand is completely normal.
Oh, that's convenient. I shake his completely normal hand with my completely normal fish hand.
It's kind of chubby.
His completely normal chubby hand with my completely normal fish hand.
If I started adding on more adjectives, would you start over and say the whole thing every single time?
Yes, this is the orc.
It's a little sweaty.
That you're the badness.
But yeah. So is there anything else you guys want to ask of the Pope?
Oh yeah, I guess just the avatar questions since we're here. Just out of curiosity. Would one need to fulfill all the requirements of, like being an octopus-simic hybrid, for example, to actually be an avatar, or do you just need most of them?
He says there's no official rules. Many of them aren't even like 100% solid on even like what is something that's required, let alone how many you need. Being in the design of the of Aether Vathi is not required. There have been people that are generally assumed to be heralds or avatars that have not fulfilled that category in the past.
Okay. And one more question.
Mm-hmm.
You're a man who's, I imagine, has poured over the religious texts of, in the collection of the church for quite a while now, right?
He says, yes, my background is that of an academic
So,
in the religious studies.
have any of the ancient texts, including those that speak of other, I guess past religions or anything, have you ever seen the name Nimbisius mentioned? Or the title the Aquatect?
Oh, brother. Oh, brother.
I'm just asking this question as a scholarly academic of past history. I'm not asking this in the sense of like trying to force anything. I'm just curious if he has ever seen anything.
Mm-hmm. He says, I'm familiar with the fact that you are a heathen to us here. The way that he uses the word heathen, he doesn't use it as an insult. He uses it as like the definition of what you are.
What is that just as a straight definition and not an insult?
Yeah. It means that you follow a different religion.
Oh, okay. I did not know that that's what it means.
Yes. So heathen means that you follow essentially a completely different religion. Heretic means that your religion is very close, but you've twisted it in some way, so there's a heresy. Makes you a heretic.
An infidel.
How does he know I follow a different religion? I like barely mention it.
Barely.
Barely. Yeah.
He says, all of you should consider yourselves to be under the microscope, the microscope by everyone around. Probably even more so now than it was before. But yes, I am familiar with your somewhat unique situation. To answer your question, no, I've never seen that name. But I do have a theory.
Oh, you do?
He beckons again for one of the support staff. Runs off, and they return back with a book. And he takes it and he opens it up, and he says, in the context of learning about the Aethervathian religion, one of the biggest points of contention is what kind of god was this great octopus. For many, the concept was that he is a god of the sea, and thus that's why we're here. For others, he was a god of the heavens that crashed into the sea during the God Wars. Some also say perhaps that it was both, that it lived in the sky and it dove down into the water in order to feed. The logic of the god of the heavens that they use, and he flips through the book, is before the God War broke out, the many gods of the sea, the old gods of the sea, were coming together with the intention of reforming the line. As many of you all know, when you die, you have to wait in a very long line before the god that you worshipped can claim your soul. The system's incredibly terrible, he says, almost universally despised. But no one's really been able to alter it. And at this meeting between all of the old gods of the sea, all of the descriptions that we have, Aethervathi is not present. So many say that that is an example for why Aethervathi was not considered a god of the sea before the war happened.
Oh.
He says, my understanding of this time is that they were not able to come up with an alternative, and the war happened and they all died. It's possible that this Nibisius, as you say it, is a prototype of what they were trying to do. And he reads from the passage in where it describes many of the gods of the sea pooling their power to create a waiting room, kind of purgatory, to allow people to have their spot in line be held while they can start to enjoy the afterlife. And that the gods of the sea would all pull their people out of the line into this waiting room in order to make the afterlife be not as harsh as it is for so many. He says the descriptions of your preaching that have come to my ears makes me think that Nibisius is not an old god or a new god. He's rather something in between. A remnant of the old gods' power that have morphed into something new. And this, what did you call it? The fathom-flooded skies?
Yeah.
Such an area may have been the waiting room they were designing and just didn't finish.
Huh.
He says, I do not have all of the information. More study would be needed on it. But that would certainly explain why no one's heard of your new god. When you first arrived and we were looking into you, I sent people to the many churches in Krokmansur to locate your church. We were not able to find one, which again is odd, for just about everyone is represented there. He says, but if Nibisius is not already a new god, if it's been collecting souls such as yours and others into this waiting room, it may turn itself into one.
So it's kind of like
Says, I do not have confirmation, but that is my theory.
So it's kind of like a combination of the will of all of the previous gods of the sea.
He says, again, I'm not aware of the entire details, but yes, that is my guess about what your patron is.
Fascinating. Blair is just like, she's beaming, and also it's like at the same time, she's just like, I don't even know how to describe it. She's so intrigued, and she's so like happy, but also so just like trying to understand the ramifications, just trying to like take it all in. Because she's like finally something that's actually starting to make sense, like all like about everything I've seen, and it still matches up with everything she has seen, the conversations she has had with it. So it's just like she's satisfied with this answer. I think she finally is starting to like be able to piece things together. That's what I mean. So she's like, yeah, she has a lot to think about, and to also speak with Nibisius about later, potentially, if she's able to get back in contact with him.
Is there anything else you guys want to ask the Pope?
I just want to, like, Thank you for telling her. It might be real, right?
He gives you another cracker.
I like how this random horrible octopus man just really likes parrots.
You will do fine as my good pet Lunu, my son.
Look, everybody has redeeming qualities, okay?
The Pope has it turns out to be Lunu's dad.
No, you know what? As the parrot, the parrot's gonna ask, do you know who Lunu's dad? By the way, this parrot has antlers like every one of Lunu's wild shapes.
Yeah, it's definitely like one of those things, like, he'll probably realize it afterwards. Oh, yeah, he was just there, he was the parrot.
So why haven't we asked her?
He turns and he looks to you, and he says, I've already given Lunu everything that I know about that subject.
Oh shit, it's in the box.
It's in the box.
Luna's dad his asses are in the box.
Mm-hmm.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Well, we gotta go outside, and a Pope will probably hear a reaction from there.
Yeah, are you guys gonna head out, or do you want to open up the box still inside the church?
No, let's head out.
Let's head out and...
outside.
All right. Do you head out through the front gates or through the side?
Oh shit! I think we exit through the front gates this time.
Yeah.
Just to show that we have come to an agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Symbolism.
All right. So you guys begin to turn around and you walk out up to the front gates. They're still again open, huge, heavy doors. The security officer who brought you in comes up to you, and as you're walking out, and he says, "Hey, we got this, and we were told to give it to you, and it's a sending slate. It's essentially blank. There's no contact information or anything in it. And as you walk out, it begins to ring with an unknown number.
Okay, let's answer.
Let's answer. Oh no!
It's gonna be dude.
Lunu's gonna turn back into normal.
Mm-hmm. So you answer it, and you hear a familiar voice on the other side. You hear the voice of the Inquisitor. He says, well, don't you all look nice? Lunu, your parrot form was quite nice, if I do say so myself.
Rush back inside, he's somewhere in here.
You do look out amongst the crowd, and you see off in the distance, on top of a building, the unmistakable presence of the Inquisitor holding a phone.
Do we have
he says, my original plan was to just go up and talk to you, but I think you all may have come to a misunderstanding and may have attacked me if I did.
You said you.
Well, you're not wrong.
Yeah, no, it's not wrong. And we can see your ass from all the way over there. What's preventing us from flying up and kicking your ass right now?
He says, I fly faster.
I doubt
It's gonna
that.
be pretty quick.
He says, but I did not call today here for violence. And instead, I called to accept your thanks.
When did we thank you?
He says, oh, I've very much helped you all. He says, first I ensured that you all won the the tournament in a flashy way. Second, I eliminated one of your competition, and then I pinned the blame on another one of your competition.
Oh,
I assisted you all in removing a disloyal member of your faction. One could say I'm your greatest ally.
what do you mean disloyal? How do you know he was going to be disloyal?
He says, "Oh, we were communicating through telepathy."
What?
He says, "Yes, he cut a deal. This you know, and I was meant to be the signal for him to break, and I let him know the signal. But, you know, if not for me, they may have tried to keep him amongst your employ, so that way he could feed them information. And I advised that would not work out well for him, and thus he revealed himself. So you're welcome."
Wait, I'm sorry. What is he saying exactly? He's saying that.
He's saying that they could have had Squilliam not reveal that he was switching sides, so he could feed them information. But because he said that for the dramatic effect to have him be revealed that he was the traitor there, and they went along with that, you now no longer had a traitor amongst you.
Well, how did they even get in contact with him to begin with? Like, wasn't it? We thought it was and like, we were, and I personally still am under the assumption that you're the one who got him in contact with Viscossi and them in the first place.
He says, Viscosity had people walk by him that he could read their minds, and that's how they communicated through messages. I was merely the last one amongst that chain. So you're welcome, he says.
Oh, is that how they fucking knew that we were gonna be even doing the tournament in the first place? Like at the exact time?
Well, all that was public knowledge. You guys sold tickets.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
There was a large crowd.
Yeah, it's true.
But he says, anyway, I hope that we can be mutually beneficial in the future. And he says, now you also have my contact information, so feel free to reach out if you ever need anything. And he hangs up.
Yeah, could you come over here? Oh, oops.
Yeah. And then you see him vanish off of the rooftop.
As he's vanishing, George just gives him an up yours and just like,
yeah,
go back here, you sky lover, you. Yeah.
I just wanted to thank him in person.
Yep. Thank him in person. Sometimes thank him so hard he'll never recover.
Mm-hmm.
Blair has just fallen to her knees in disbelief, and she has no idea what to think anymore.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I can't take all of this betrayal and not betrayal and all of this fucking confusing shit confusing my feelings. This is too much.
Mm-hmm. Roll me a charisma saving throw.
Me?
Yup. Oh, that's really good.
I know.
So, you start going through all of that. You feel the pains of it, but then like you start to regain some composure as you remember the Inquisitor is a psychopath and will lie, and you probably shouldn't believe anything he says until it's verified.
Well, you're totally right.
And you may and he may be telling the truth because the things that he said about him helping you, they do. There is a way to look at it that way, but at the same time, He also murdered someone, and is currently on the other side.
Yes.
So, and you know from the Pope what his end goal is. You don't think the Pope was lying about that. The guy wants to ascend to godhood, and he'll do anything that it takes to get there.
God, he's gonna become my fucking Kylo Ren. This is horrible. But yeah, no,
He's
he's
gonna become your what?
He's gonna become my
Kylo
Kylo Ren.
Oh,
I can't believe it. You're the worst Star Wars.
Oh god damn it! It's like on one hand he's a horrible psychopath who's a complete monster. On the other hand, he's really hot. Fuck!
Q Lunu is just going like somehow Palpatine return.
Wait,
Yeah, we just met him.
you
like
did
5
say
minutes
that
ago.
already.
Yeah, we just met him. Let the past die.
So, I think this is probably a good point for us to break a little bit early today.
Wait, but the box.
Oh, that's right, the box. Yeah, we
box.
can do
Let's
the
do the
box.
box.
We got
Let's
time
do
for
the
the
box.
box.
Let's do the box.
So you guys go back to your home base after the long and tiresome day that you all have had, and you're back home. It's been a while since you've been there. Oh, she's not there anymore. So you're back home, and Luna, you go through the letter with a little bit more detail. The letter states that this weapon belonged to a member of the illustrious Pearl Holy Order, and it seems like it's too long ago to have belonged to your father. It's older. The timetables don't work out. But in the letter, it says that when you were going around to the order, when all of you walked in, this weapon started resonating magical energy, and they spent some time looking through it, and it seems to be matching yours. The weapon itself generally harms people who wield it. It's said to be possessed by an angry spirit. And so in the letter it says, be very careful how you choose to test this out. But we think that you may be able to wield this. And when you open it up, you see a silver sickle, almost like the size of a khopesh, inside.
Okay. I'm immediately like trying to cast Identify on it just to see if I can tell anything about this thing.
So the weapon is a +2 weapon, and it has the magical ability of when wielded, if the user transforms into an animal through a polymorph spell or through wild shape, the bonus will apply to all of those, all of the attacks of that animal as well.
Oh shit, that's insane. That's
Oh,
so
that's
good.
good. That is good.
And it is definitely cursed. Your identify picks up. It is possessed. There is a consciousness inside the blade.
Can I attempt to detect thoughts on the weapon?
Yes. When you do it, you don't get anything, and the conclusion that the two of you draw based off of your combined identify/detect thoughts is that in order for it to it has no consciousness until it's picked up.
Oh. So, Lunu, do you want to do the honors?
Alright, I pick it up. I let you cast Detect Thoughts on me here.
I cast Detect Thoughts.
Does Detect Thoughts have any saving throws?
Let me see.
Because I believe you can get like the surface level stuff without any
17.
Hold on, As an action, you can shift your attention to another creature, probe deeper. If you probe deeper, the target makes a wisdom saving.
Okay.
And then if it fails, you gain insight into its reasoning, its emotional state, something that looms large in its mind. The target knows. All right. So you cast a spell. You pick it up, Lunu, and once you hold it, if I can get you to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Alright.
Oh no, isn't that your good stat?
Yeah.
Mine.
Yep.
So the good news is the mind reading probe deeper works. You needed to get 17 in order. If you gotten higher than a 17, then it wouldn't have worked.
Oh, okay. So that was
Yeah.
what that was for. Okay.
No, we wanted that. This is good.
So inside of your head, you hear a voice. It's kind of an old voice. Someone who you believe would, if they were standing next to you, kind of sounds like an old man. And they say, "Well, here there, Sonny. Why aren't you screaming in pain like the rest of them?"
Do I recognize the voice?
No, you've never heard it before.
You know, man, I had some stuff given to me by a guy named Kalamazoo. I had this morning before we had an important meeting. It influenced me to turn into a parrot during a very important discussion.
Fucking smoked weed before our met.
I was real nervous.
Yeah.
You were inside the whole arena fight and during the meeting. You were baked out of your mind.
Yeah. So he says, "Interesting," and you hear footsteps, like he's like walking, and as it seems like he walks farther away, his voice gets quieter. As he walks closer, his voice gets louder, and it seems like he's walking around the room, almost to the point that he walks up to everybody else at one point, and he says, "Well, this is good. I usually can't stay awake, unless, I can feed off of someone's psychic energies, and apparently I can do that to you without hurting you. So that's a bonus. He says. Maybe you can help me find my son.
What does he look like?
He describes a guy that kind of looks like you, but he doesn't have any antlers.
Oh man, I'm sorry, man. I have antlers. I hope you do find your son one day, though.
Blair just like,
He says.
Oh, sorry.
He says, "Well, if you help me, I'll help you. What do you need?"
Well, I'm looking for my dad. He had antlers, probably. I'm assuming he did.
He says, "Well, do you have a description of him?"
No. My grandfather told me that he came to this place long ago, and I was told I could find him here, and I could ask him some more questions about whatever the heck I am.
He says, "Well, what are you?"
Well, Grandpa told me I had fey blood in me, but Grandpa is also a giant deer creature thing.
Blair's just listening to all this and just face palms into her face. Because she's fully figured out everything going on here. She's like, how does he not get it yet?
I'm presuming you and Sen are just like looking at like you and Blair, just like, what the fuck is going on here?
I'm just like, Lunu.
What, Blair? I'm talking to somebody right now.
I can hear you talking to him.
Oh, that's rude. Why are you in
No. Do you really not realize who this guy is? Or I guess you're his blade?
Well, my dad, if you're going to say my dad's not a sword, idiot.
He's not your dad. He's your other grandfather.
What do you mean?
The audience
he's your other grandfather.
Oh, are you?
He's your second grandfather. He's looking for someone who looks a lot like you, with no antlers. And you said that your other grandfather...
Well, so the grandfather that was telling you all that stuff, that's your father's dad, though, right?
Yes.
So it seems like this guy is looking for a son.
Maybe he had two gay
But
dads.
remember, this sword is also a lot older.
I was thinking it was the opposite grandfather, as in like on the mother's side or whatever. But, or I guess on the father's side, and the one that was telling all of this was on your mother's side, and that your mother was a deer creature. Hence why the father would have no antlers. But then upon them two getting together, that's why you look like him, but with antlers. Is where I was going with this.
He asks you what your grandfather's name is.
Lunu then says something in what would sound like in Sylvan. It's too many consonants for even me, the player, to pronounce.
Mm-hmm. And that's your grandfather's name?
Yes. But I just call him Puppy.
He says, what does that translate to in common?
Ursus? Something around the line of that?
He thinks for a minute. And he says, "When I was cursed, my son had not yet been born. You know, I don't know how long I've been sealed in here, but it does seem like it's been quite a while.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Perhaps I'm an ancestor of yours. I don't know if I'm your great-grandfather or your great-great-grandfather, but the most thing that I can think of is that that's the case. And you know, I didn't get a chance to be a father, but maybe I can help you find yours."
That's real nice of you, friend. Yeah, I doubt we are related. It's no offense. It's, you know, my dad was probably not a sword. But or a blade.
He says, "Well, I wasn't always a sword."
Yeah, you know, I'm sure you were.
And he says, "And I'm pretty sure I'm not your dad."
Okay. Yeah.
Considering my wife didn't also have horns, and I don't think those things skip generations usually.
First off, these are antlers.
He says, "Is there a difference?"
Yeah, no, I can snap these bad boys off and they'll regrow in a couple of weeks.
He says, "Does horns not do that?"
Horns do not do that. No, you lose horns, they're gone for good.
He says, "They're not like toenails?"
No.
He says, "I had a really bad ingrown toenail once."
Wait, is that what all the weird sheddings all over the bathroom floor is?
It's just antler shavings.
He says, "Well, all right. I'm sorry I was mistaken. Your horns. No, sorry, antlers." He says, "Say, I've got a slight experiment I want to try. Can you have a couple of drinks for me? I want to see if I can get a buzz."
Or, I mean, I guess.
You have a couple of drinks. He's like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. I haven't been buzzed in who knows how many years. At least since I became a sword."
I love how we're just pushing fucking Lunu's dictions farther and farther. All these terrible advances.
He says, "Well, I'll try and feed off your mind and see if I can maybe come up with a picture of what your dad looks like." He says, "Do you know what your mom looks like?"
Faint memories.
He says, "Think really, really hard about it."
She had white hair, but not the same skin complexion. Also, I think her same eyes.
So he conjures up like a picture that slowly morphs into it, and is like, "Oh yeah, she's cute. Good job, my descendant." He says, "So we're looking for someone then that kind of looks like you, kind of looks like my son, but with horns." He says, "I'll try and see if I can psychically mesh up with anybody with similar wavelengths and see if I can point you in the right direction.
Yeah, no, that would be real helpful.
He
And
says,
if it-
just make sure to have a couple of those drinks for me every now and then.
All right.
Could you ask the spirit what is their name?
It doesn't matter, man. It's rude.
What, to ask their name?
Yeah,
It's the opposite of rude.
No,
What
it's
do you-
when you're
about-
dealing with dream folk, it's rude. That's their true name.
You could have asked him for his
but
fake name.
Like, you can use it to your advantage if he betrays you.
Yeah, if I give him a name and he hasn't had one for a while, it's gonna become his name, and then he's gonna be like worried I'm gonna hold it over him the entire time. It's gonna make it real awkward.
What's a fake name we should call him?
Hey, Sickle, they want a name that they can.
Oh, he
call
says,
you.
"Oh, that'll work."
Name? Okay, his name
No,
is
no, Sickle.
Sickle.
That works great.
Okay, yeah, no, that's good. Alright, bare minimum. That could refer to anything.
He says, "I'll be honest, I can't remember my name. Do you have a last name?"
Well,
You do.
I do. I named it myself. It was under unfortunate circumstances that I got this title.
He says, "What is it?"
It's Night Stalker.
He says, "All right, well, you can call me Sickle Night Stalker."
Okay, Sickle Night Stalker.
Please don't use that name.
No, this is Sickle Night Stalker. It's cool. He's a rad guy. He stalks in the
It's like the most edgelord name, and it's just like this old drunk grandpa.
Single Night Stalker, dope. That sounds like
Blair,
a-
stop. People are going to confuse him for a serial killer.
What if he really was the original Night Stalker?
No.
And that's why he was wielding the sword.
Oh, no, I actually looked up the fucking Night Stalker. It's a nightmare.
Oh my gosh.
Don't
All right.
Richard Ramirez kids. Anyway.
Well, so the good news is that brings us right for time for us to close. So in between now and next session, there's going to be a bit of a time skip. We're jumping ahead again. So I'm going to be giving you guys some stuff, some like repercussions of things that happen over next time, and we'll get a new set of missions for you guys to complete. So if there's other things that you want your character to be doing, besides obviously all of the obvious stuff, like you're going to be campaigning to get the other candidates to drop out, you're going to be, all of that normal stuff, that's all going to be included. So it's just, if there's anything that you do in your free time that's not related to that, just be thinking of that again. And we'll also be going over some additional gear and stuff for you, so that way I want to iron all that out. Lunu got his early because it was story related.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, so that's all I have for you guys today. So plugs.
Plugs? Hey, I'm Boosh /Connar / your friend, not GM. I'm Lunu Night Stalker. You can find me, Boosh at Conjoined Artists on Instagram and Blue Sky. Con the Artist on Twitter. And join the Discord, be our friend. We got conjoined. I know this is gonna date the episode, but we got conjoined cast tomorrow, Tuesday. I need to think of a topic, or an actual theme for the episode. But
If you don't say the topic or the theme, it doesn't date the episode because then
That's
it would
true.
be any one of the casts.
Exactly. We're gonna try to have a conjoined cast at least once a month. It's a stream cast. Anyone can join in. Just play along, and it'll all be good. I'm gonna also subscribe. Austin.
You can find me Apto_also X, Twitter, Quap. You know what? It's Quap now. The website is Quap. Do something about it, Elon. I fucking dare you. Anyway, Tasura.
Good one, Sarah.
Do we lose Tasura? Hello?
Hello?
Tasura Cinna! Cinna!
Hey, hello.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
I died. I exploded.
Okay.
But I've reached out from the void just so that I can plug the birthday boys.
Oh, it was our birthday today. Oh,
To the birthday boys.
Yeah.
Really date the episode now.
This
You
episode.
dated the episode!
Okay.
It's okay, just don't say how old you are, and then we won't know the year.
Yeah, we won't know it's the year of our Nimbicius 2024. Oops.
Hey, you know what's funny? Episodes from 2022 uploaded like a few weeks ago.
Of what?
Yep, and in 2026, when this episode is uploaded,
No, they're already on the fucking. They just started the drag show Squilliam arc on YouTube, so they'll catch up pretty soon. Everything will be uploaded in probably like a month or two,
Yeah.
Maybe.
which is great because I love watching back through some of these episodes.
I'll be back.
But yeah.
Here we go, Steven.
Oh yes, Steven! Hello, my name was Blair Audina, and today I find out what the fuck my patron god is. And that shit was crazy. Anyways, you can find me. Also, it means I'm not crazy. Go fuck all of yourselves.
Sure.
You can
Sure.
find
well,
me.
Crazy in
said it
other
was a
ways.
theory. You could still just be
What?
insane.
Hey, that's just a theory. A god theory. Thanks for watching.
Rest in peace, Matt Pat. He's not
Rest in
dead, but
peace.
I hope he's okay.
But yeah, you can find me at Venty179 on YouTube and Twitch, of 1Venty79/79 on Twitter, as long as I'm still on there for, and that's basically it. Tom!
Hey, my plug for today is to make sure you take your daily placebo. One a day, every day. It'll improve your health. Just like literally almost everything it helps out with. Oh, by the way, my name's Tom. I'm the DM. That's my plug.
Thanks, Tom.
Very nice. I gotta go find my pills.
I can't wait to OD on my placebo. Anyway, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
Night.